Hello and welcome to the Monroe Method Clancast. I am Jason Monroe. This is episode 182. Hello there. So I have been building a brand new 8-week program. Now in the past I've done 6-week things, 8-week things, etc. But each of these has really just been people coming into the Monroe Method for an extended period of time. They still worked through the original Monroe 30-day process. They were just committing to a longer period. Because sometimes that little change in mindset is all you need. Like if you go into something and it's a 30-day trial, all that happens is, depending on what your mood's like when it comes to day 30, you decide if you're going to carry on or not. When you get people to come in and commit to like 6 weeks, 8 weeks, there's no trial involved. That's not something that's dragging their mindset back. It's not something they're thinking about. It's like, right, I am here for 6-8 weeks. This isn't that. The 8-week Rewire, I have called it, is an 8-week program. It's like if you think of the Monroe Method, the 30-day trial, it's that, but double the length. And we go into much more depth and detail. And throughout the entire 8 weeks, I have everyone building their own roadmap to help each individual person rewire the way that they think, the way that they approach food. And one of the cool things is, so right now, I'm just over halfway through the beta launch, which was where I think I got like 29 or 28 people in there. And I had the first few weeks of it already built, and I had the entire thing mapped out. So my plan was, what I am doing, because this is exactly how it's worked out. They come in and they work through week 1, and I find out all about them. Find out what their struggles are, find out what their background is, find out the type of people that have come into it, and then I start analysing the future lessons. And asking, right, is there enough here? Do I need to move something forward? Are people really struggling with something in particular? So this beta group has come in and helped me build and shape this 8-week process. And it is going ridiculously well. If you've seen me sharing any stuff on Instagram from some of the people inside, it makes me excited. It's always a nerve-wracking thing when you build something. It's all good and well throwing yourself into building something and throwing all your knowledge and expertise into something, but it's like, have I actually built a process that is designed to help people? And I would say that I am nailing it, and I only have 3 weeks left of it. So again, we're at the halfway point. I've analysed everybody, all their check-ins, asked myself the question, do we have, I had to add another lesson in the other day called your coping toolbox. I had to record that yesterday for day 36 as an extra lesson to insert into it. Now that I realised that we needed that to help people because there's quite a few people that struggle with boredom eating, etc., which is what we're going to get into today. So whatever the title of this is going to be, it's going to be something about reclaiming your me time. Now, what do I mean by that? This is lesson 34 inside the 8-week. Well, it's not lesson 34, sorry, it's day 34. There's not like a lesson every single day. I've learned from the past where that's just overwhelming for people. Even if the things are only like 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes long. You're doing a couple of days and then there's like a rest. And then a couple of days and then there's maybe 2 days rest. So you can implement things. So day 34, I've done a lesson called Reclaiming Your Me Time. And this is basically where a lot of people who have come into the program, they have kids, they have busy job. Who doesn't have a busy life, right? But they struggle with the whole. They don't struggle with it. They think they're having me time. So the kids are in bed. It's 9 p.m. You're finally sitting down for the day. You have given 14 hours to everything and everyone else. And you finally have a moment for yourself. Like, you could do anything. You could do something high value, something great, something that's going to make you feel awesome. And what do? You switch on a TV that you're not going to watch, and you get out your phone. And then once you realise how bored your hands are, how fried your brain is, and how tired you are, instead of thinking, do you know what? I will do a massive act of self-care here and take myself to bed. You remind yourself, no, I've not had any time to myself today. This is my time. I'm going to maximise this. And so you go to the kitchen and you start getting some snacks. Now, with this, like, it's not about trying, and I've been repeating this all the way through this 8-week program. We are not trying to get ourselves to stop doing things. We're not trying to get better at not eating. We're not trying to get better at stopping ourselves from eating. We're not trying to get better at not giving in to temptation or any of that nonsense. We are trying to help ourselves make better decisions. So with this lesson, day 34, it's, okay, we're not waiting until we're in the moment. We are doing this lesson, and I'm getting everyone to write down, what is your idea of me time? Well, my idea of me time now, and be honest, it's like, be honest about it. My idea of me time right now is when the kids go to bed, I go and grab some snacks, I switch on the TV, I don't even watch the TV, and I scroll my phone. And when on day 7, when people sign up, I ask deep questions like, what is your bedtime routine? Tell me everything. Talk about scrolling, etc. How much time are you spending on your phone? Go into your settings. Go into your screen time. Go into your well-being app. Find out how many hours a day are you giving to your phone. Do you smoke? Do you vape? Do you drink alcohol? Just so that I know as much as I can about the people I'm working with, because this, I have called it the 8-week rewire, because we are trying. I am trying. Don't know why I keep saying we, it's me. Somebody on Instagram said to me the other day, hi Jason and team, when they were sending me a DM. I'm like, yeah, there's no team here, buddy. It's just me. People think I'm some hotshot nutritionist that has like 10 people working for me, and I don't actually do any work. I am. I've got a co-coach, Louise, who helps me out a few days a week for a few hours. But everything else is me, in case anyone didn't realise that. Back to the point. So, yeah, it's me, not we. So we are trying to rewire their brain. This is what the 8 weeks is all about. The whole approach of this is we need to change the way that you think first. Because you cannot change the way you act until you change the way you think. I am going to write that down because that was good. In fact, no. I'll voice type it into my phone and say it again. You cannot change the way you act until you change the way you think. That'll be good for something. And it's true. Like, you can try and force yourself to not do things. I'm just going to not eat chocolate. I'm just going to snack less. I'm just going to not order takeaways. Like, it's so fucking stupid to try and just tell yourself that I'm just going to, you've gone from doing this thing 10 times a day, emotionally eating, stress eating, etc. And this happens a lot. This is one of the reasons I wanted to build this more in-depth program, is that inside the Monroe method and like the 30-day trial and things, because it's so cheap, like it's so, in terms of working with a qualified nutritionist, it is so inexpensive, but that's a double-edged sword, because when someone's paying little or feels like they're paying little for something, especially when it's something like a £38 trial, like they don't feel like they need to put much into it. When I worked with my handful of private clients that were paying £200 a month, that was a completely different game. Like, you get a completely different level of input from people. So this is one of the reasons I wanted to build the 8-week thing, was to go more in depth with it. So yeah, the whole I'm just gonna not do that anymore, it doesn't work. You have to change the way that you think, because the way that you act is a direct result of the way you think. You think, and it's not just like, I think this, so I do this. It's, my thoughts, over the years I have developed these thoughts and habits and behaviours and beliefs that when I feel sad, I need to eat something. And it's like, okay, well, how are you going to fix that? Oh, I'm just going to not do it. Like, it doesn't, that's not a thing. How many times in your life have you tried to just not do something anymore? And how well did that go for you? I'm just going to eat less. I'm just going to stop snacking. I'm going to stop doing this. I'm not going to order as many takeaways. Try to think of the best way to explain this. If the reason you were doing it was, I'm going to eat more takeaways, then the solution to it would be, well, I'm going to eat fewer takeaways, right? That's a solution. But the reason you're ordering takeaways is because you are tired, you're exhausted, you're not doing a supermarket shop, you're not planning any meals. You are forcing yourself to make disempowered choices at 6 p.m. after you have had an entire fucking day of being an employee or being a boss or being a partner or being a parent, being something, giving yourself to other people, and now it is 6 p.m. You're shattered. All you want to do is sit down, and now you're staring in a fridge, looking in cupboards, trying to decide, what the hell am I going to eat? And that's when you go, fuck it. And you open your Just Eat app or your Deliveroo app or your Uber Eats app or whatever it is where you live. And you order something. So if that's the problem, if all of those things are the problem, then you can't just say, well, I'm just not going to do that anymore. You have to fix the problems. So remember that one. You cannot change the way you act until you change the way you think. But let's bring it back to this. So let's talk about your me time. What is... You can do this. This is the stuff I've been doing inside this 8-week program. Go get a piece of paper. Go get a notepad. And write down, what is my idea of me time? Your idea of me time is probably super low value, shitty things like scrolling my phone. When I get a spare 2 minutes, I open my phone. Amazing. And then what do? Watch a TikTok video. Watch a reel. Look at 20 stories in a row back to back to see how other people are living that benefits you in no way whatsoever. That's probably the lowest of low value time. Low value me time. Something I said yesterday was that me time should not drain you, right? Me time is when you are supposed to fill yourself back up again. Me time is supposed to replenish you. It's supposed to help you recover. If you come out of the other side of your me time feeling even more drained, feeling like you have even less energy, feeling hollow, and this was what I was kind of explaining in that lesson around how do you know if it's like low value me time? Well, who comes off a scrolling session and says, God, I really enjoyed that. That was a great 3 hours on TikTok. You can't remember anything you've just looked at. You know, if it only feels good for as long as it lasts, then it's not good. If the minute it stops you feel hollow, empty, maybe even a bit annoyed at yourself, you are wasting time. You're not having me time. Do you know what I did the other night? Since my ex-wife and I decided we were separating, I have not watched any TV series. So that has been since January 2025, January, February, March, April, into, 16 months. I have not watched a single episode of a TV show. And I used to regularly watch, enjoy getting through things. And 2 nights ago, I watched 3 episodes of the new series of The Boys. Do you know what annoyed me? I was seeing so many series come up for things that I have watched, like new seasons, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to watch that. And they were building up. And it got to the point where I was like, right, fuck it, I'm just going to have to start watching these. So that's something I've started to do. Because my me time was like going to bed dead early and then waking up dead early and then wasting time in the morning. Anyway. We need to redefine what me time is. Me time is not eating chocolate. Me time is not watching a TV. Me time is not switching a TV on and not paying attention to it. Me time is not a doom scrolling session. Now, I don't want to put ideas in your head of what me time should be. I'm just going to give you the same examples that I did yesterday because I prefer people come up with their own things that mean something to them. Me time is a bath with the door locked. Me time is reading your book in the garden when you have a spare hour. Me time is taking yourself for a walk with no phone. Or whatever else, like my idea of me time is to fuck off up a mountain by myself. That's high value, super quality me time, because I will live off the high of that for days afterwards. You know, especially if I go and tackle, like, there was a couple of years ago now, I was going and climbing 5, 6, 7 Munros in a day in the snow. Like, you imagine the sense of accomplishment you get from doing something like that. My green garden stuff that you see in my background is falling off the wall. I'll fix that after. That's the kind of thing that I ride the high for days afterwards. So think about it that way. You go away for a day and go for a big massive walk. You feel great about that for days. I mean, I still feel great about that now, because that was mega, that accomplishment that I did, and that was a couple of years ago. Versus a doom scrolling session. Good Lord. So take some time this weekend and redefine what me time actually means to you. Me time is not squishing screen time into every single gap you have in a day. It is not munching your way through crisps and chocolate. It's doing stuff that leaves you feeling fulfilled afterwards, that actually makes you feel good. Anything that leaves you feeling hollow and empty and annoyed and frustrated inside after it stops, anything that feels good only for as long as you're doing it, that's not me time. That is low value, crappy, shitty stuff that is draining you even more, and it's doing the opposite of what you want. So take some time this weekend to think about what me time actually means to you, and come up with a list of alternative things that you can do in those gaps where you get that time to yourself. Stuff in it. Don't make it chores. Don't make it housework. Unless it's a task that is going to make you feel great tomorrow because you're doing something ahead of time. Don't pull out a laptop. Don't start doing work that you didn't do earlier in the day. Don't start doing any of that shit. But if there is maybe like something in the house that's really annoying you, like, oh, I really want to tidy up that corner, or I really want to tidy that cupboard, I would... Again, this is me not wanting to put words in your mouth, but that's the kind of thing that I would enjoy as me time. I love cleaning, I love tidying, I love DIY. That would be high value me time for me. Like, I would happily spend 2 hours on a Saturday morning cleaning my car. I would feel great after that. But that's just me. So yeah, take that time. Redefine what me time means and start following through on it. You will feel like a new person, and then that just, when you feel better, that then flows into everything else. Nobody comes off a 3-hour doom scrolling session and then gets super motivated to go and do amazing things. You just get pissed off with yourself. And it never leads to anything good. It's one of those things keeping you stuck in a rut. Start doing positive things for yourself, and that will then flow into everything else, and you will feel better. Inside this 8-week rewire, like we had to talk massively about sleep and energy. Do you know, it's barely even been anything about what people are eating or what's on your plate. It's mostly been about how can we make you think better and feel better so that everything else feels easier. And it's working. Right, that is enough from me. Go and have a lovely weekend. Until next time.